Hi, everybody, and welcome to my channel Awaken with Pradnya. And this is probably my third live video experience. And last week, me and Anya were talking, and we decided that let's have this very spontaneous sort of a video, which might be quite interesting for many of you. So, welcome, Anya, to my channel. You are always there as my soul sister to help me in everything, and there is so much that I would want to talk about, Anya. But yeah, this video is about something which we always wanted to share, both of us. So, all those who don't know Anya, Anya comes from Germany. She is on her spiritual path for last 25 to 30 years almost, and she is on her twin flame journey, and she met her spiritual mentor 25 years back. And since then her life changed and her spiritual path started unfolding. And her mentor's name is Omnec Onec, about whom we are going to discuss today. Because when Anya had come here in the month of November last year, she gifted me this amazing book called Onec. And I started reading it, and I was amazed by the kind of knowledge this lady has shared. Omnec comes from the planet Venus. She actually manifested her body at the age of 5 or 6, coming from the astral plane into the physical body. It's an unbelievable story. Most of the people are not able to believe that there is somebody who is in the human physical body manifesting that body from the astral plane, coming from a different planet altogether. And the amazing thing about Omnic is that she remembers everything what her life was on planet Venus. So her book, where she's talking about all these things, is intricately explaining what is the life on planet Venus, how does it, when it comes to advanced civilization and the ascended awareness of a human being, what sort of life it can really be. She is actually bringing that whole memory here on planet Earth to share with all the human beings, so that we awaken to our truth. And this is so amazing to see such mentors quietly living their life and doing their missions on this planet. So I'm really honored to even talk about this lady on this channel for the first time. So, and Anya has been managing her work for last 25 years. So Anya has been really a privileged person, I would say, to work closely with this lady and to learn so much from this person. So it's my honor actually to have Anya to share, as her first-hand experience with Omnic. So yeah, Anya, if you want to say anything about that.
Well, the honor is just on my side, Pradnya. I feel really blessed that you and I connected, and it's still overwhelming when you start seeing the bigger picture. Of course, the masters always, Omnic always said, the masters laugh when she had said, "Well, now I get it. I see the complete picture," and they were just standing there laughing. And she said, "Why are you laughing?" And they said, "Well, you just see a little puzzle piece of the complete picture, because our mind here, our brain, our physical selves are not able to comprehend the vastness of the truth of what God really is, of what the universe really is. So we have to do our little baby steps, and it's always expanding. And by meeting you, Pradnya, and by connecting with you, my whole universe expanded again. And now we are here together sharing our information, our teachings, and benefit mankind with that. This is the intention, to help raise people's consciousness, to help people to heal, to find truth, to find back their soul awareness, happiness, and all that. So it's a beautiful, beautiful guidance from our masters and our spirit team that we are sitting here together now, and that we are even will be again twice at least this year physically together in events and everything. Thank you.
Are you able to listen to my voice because I'm experiencing some malfunction voice over here? Okay, no, I think it is a glitch in my this thing. So I definitely want to ask you, Anya, like how did it start, and is there anything which you want to share about Omnec as your memory? I have so much because I have been reading her book, and I have so much to talk about, but I want to ask you first.
Well, I have so much to talk about as well. I mean, the chat is open. So if anybody really wants to chime in and ask a specific question, you're welcome. As long as we are not seeing anything particularly addressed to us as a question. So where should I begin? Where should I begin? Pratnya, seriously.
Okay. Okay, I can completely understand because you have so much of knowledge, ocean of knowledge when it comes to Omnec. I think it might be a little difficult for you. But as I have been a pretty much a beginner when it comes to knowing about her, I want to share one very specific thing when it comes to her book. I was reading her book, and in her book, she shares a lot about how the planet Earth has been one of the youngest planet in the solar system. And most of the people who are galactic beings consider planet Earth as a negative child because the consciousness of Earth is not really ascended right now. So I was just trying to imagine this, that all the galactic beings or the star beings, looking at the planet from the distance and considering that as a negative child, because it gives literally some sort of goosebumps to you that, oh my God, like these people are actually able to see so many things from the higher perspective. And on planet Venus, this planet Earth is called Kal Nar, that is in their language a negative child. And the very interesting concept she has explained in her book is that every other planet in a solar system has more than one moons, and any moon of any planet affects the mind, the consciousness of a person's mind. So mentally, people get affected when there is a moon rotating around any planet. So every planet has more than one moon. So she has said that if a planet doesn't have any moon, it is completely fine. If planet has more than one moon, that is also completely fine. But Earth makes itself an absolute unique planet because it only has one moon. And because planet Earth has only one moon, the consciousness, the mental balance of the collective is always in imbalance, because the way moon rotates around the planet Earth, the mental illnesses, the ups and downs when it comes to the mind matters are getting imbalanced because of the one moon. But if the planet Earth had two moons, the life on Earth would have been absolutely different. We can't even imagine how it would be. And this is also one of the reasons that why other higher beings or other galactic beings in the star systems don't really opt or don't really choose to incarnate on planet Earth, because it is too much of a challenge, too much of a struggle to come here. And I felt that it's not that we did not know technically that Earth is the only planet that has one moon, but this thought had never occurred to me, that how it could actually mean when it comes to consciousness or uh, navigating with the mental challenges. So somewhere I felt that this was a very interesting information. Do you have anything to say on that?
Yes,
And
yes. So that's very good that you are starting with that, because I'm just quickly showing the book. This is the
yeah,
Venusian Trilogy. So what you're now talking about is really written in the very first chapter of Omnec. So just for those who are interested in that, just to let you know, this book is only available physically with me on my shop. So, but you can get the 3 parts separately on Amazon. That's very easy. and easier to read. And it's also available as Kindle, so you can find all the links in the YouTube description. So promotion finished for that moment. So what you are saying is really written, seriously, this was written in the 60s. Omnec was brought to Earth in 55 as a little child with this mission to share all this galactic information and so much more about, there are many reasons behind why she was sent to Earth and why she chose to go on this mission and to be here. And sharing her knowledge that she was given still on Venus, because she was prepared on Venus in special temples and by the masters, and she was able to see the history of the Earth, and not only of the Earth, but also of our total solar system, of the complete galactic background, the galactic history, about the origin of the planets and how and when and why people eventually colonized the Earth. So she was given a big load of information so that she would later in her life, in the course of her, while she was already living on Earth, so that she would later in her life be able to share it. Yeah, so she had it all kind of in storage within herself, like a computer chip. It was always in her awareness. And so later in the 60s, she started writing it down, and she was guided to tell the story also, because she was guided to have support, assistance, and people helped her write the story down. And this is how eventually in the 90s, actually, I'm now telling a little bit more of the background, because this is important to understand a bigger picture. So as I said, she already wrote it very pretty early, and then it was kind of stored in the drawer. And later in 1991, it was the first time that From Venus I Came was published with the help of the US Air Force Colonel Wendell C. Stevens, who was an UFO investigator and also a publisher. So when it comes to now the history of Earth and the moon thing and everything, I would like to say something that I feel is very important, because later in her life, always was given another load of information where she explained why the Earth has only one moon. And she says in another information, I mean, in the second that I was just referring to, that's not in the book, that originally the Earth was a perfect planet, a perfect, harmonious, paradisical planet with 2 moons. So, and she tells in her big story about the history of Earth and the unknown system of our solar system, that this one moon was destroyed in a galactic war between 2 nefarious races that had a big atomic fight, a science fiction kind of like war over the Earth. So the history is much, much bigger than anybody on Earth knows, unless those who have their own sources of information or who have read a lot or studied a lot. And she explains in her teachings that in the course of this war, as I said, this one moon was destroyed. And then the galactics, the positive beings like the Venusians, the Martians, and the Saturnians, and the Jupiterians, and other benevolent beings who love the Earth and who were observing the Earth and who were bringing life, like plants and animal kingdom and mineral kingdom, to the Earth, because the Earth is just a beautiful planet. It always has been. It has so much water. It had a very balanced atmosphere. When we had the 2 moons, everything was completely in a paradisical, harmonious state. And then this fight occurred, as I said, and they destroyed 1 moon. And this caused the imbalance. This caused the imbalance of the Earth. And then the galactics again healed the earth, and they harmonized the earth with specific technology, because they have a technology that's far beyond what we can imagine. So they were even able to restore the atmosphere and to bring back balance to a certain amount, but still there was this imbalance because of the moon. And so there all of a sudden were the tides, and the emotions were affected. This is exactly what she explains. But it's not that it's not able to be healed again. There is technologically, from high awareness beings, it's possible to bring balance back to the earth. And it's also it has to do with the awareness of the people. I mean, I could now, of course, ramble on forever, but it's when we have found the balance within again, when we have risen again our awareness and our consciousness, and this is why we are now going through this ascension process of the earth individually and globally. This is one reason why so many twin flames are incarnated and encountering each other. This is also why so many people experience certain kinds of awakenings through various avenues, because of the necessity of earth to be brought back to its original state of a harmonious paradise. So it's a big process. You can imagine that it takes billions of years. That the history of the earth and of the galactics and everything is a very, very old history. And of course, the negative child, as you said, it's called because it had to be kind of isolated and in our solar system, because it also served you can look at it like that. The earth volunteered kind of to also go through this experience to give a home to young souls, and to offer the experience of polarity, duality, and go through forgetting who we really are. So souls have been incarnating on the earth. So the one moon thing and the low consciousness of humankind on earth is just a reflection. The inner is like the outer. And when mankind awakens again, either we have no moon anymore, or we have a second moon, or we have some kind of balance again that reflects the ascension and the enlightenment of humankind when we have risen our consciousness. So I guess I will pause here, because this was already a big load, I guess.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for that information. I mean, I think you are the best person to talk about her teachings. So that's really great to hear from you. And somewhere I also feel that our education systems, I'm a bit shifting more as you are talking about the Omnec side. I think I am going to talk more about the current scenario, because somehow we can relate both these things together. In our education system, most of the schools or all of the schools are teaching a specific knowledge. Like everybody passes out from the school from understanding that there are so many harsh uh, temperatures, and most of the planets, Venus, Mars, are having harsh temperatures. So there is no possibility for any human life to develop over there. And I have always been feeling, even before my awakening, that somewhere our science, even after being scientifically proved that there are more dimensions than the third dimensions, there is a fourth dimension, fifth dimension, scientifically proven. Unfortunately, all the scientific experiments or projects that are undertaken these days are completely depending upon the third dimensional existence. So all these people who are sending space missions or searching for life on another planet are not really considering another dimensional existence. They are just searching things according to the third dimensional existence, and that's why they don't find anything on Venus or on Mars. And Omnec has very interestingly stated in her book that most of the human races which we find today on planet Earth, I used to always have this question in my school, that if everything developed from one man or a one woman, why as different races we look so different from each other? Why African race completely look different than the Eastern race? Or there are so many people who look completely different than each other, and why is that? And somehow I feel that I got that answer in her book, that she said that more than half of the planets of solar system hold advanced human life, and those races are way much more ancient than any other race on planet Earth, and they are far more technologically advanced, they are far more spiritually advanced, but as they are ascended human races, they are not functioning in the third dimension, they are functioning in another dimension on those planets. And obviously, even they exist in our own solar system, we are not able to trace them because our limited mind is only searching for something that is in the third dimension. And that's like a, it's very tragic to see that even after we considering ourselves as such an intellectual race, we are not able to understand this basic thing. So that was like really very intriguing for me.
Okay, shall I chime in?
Yeah, tell me.
Okay, 2 points. One is that Omnec says that these are our ancestors, and that's why we have all these races on Earth, because they are the ancestors. I mean, she explains it in her whole story and in her teachings that the Earth was colonized. And when it was the time, so after this war that I was just explaining, and after the first moon, the one moon was destroyed, they restored the Earth, yes, and then when the older planets, Mars, Venus, Saturn, and Jupiter, she's talking about these particular planets in our solar system. There are also other races in other galaxies who also came on to Earth, and they still do. But we are now only focusing on our solar system. And she said that the races on Earth they colonized from Mars, that the red race actually came from Jupiter, the black race came from the black race from Jupiter, the red race from Saturn, and the yellow race from Mars, and the white race from Venus. And this is, of course, the origins, and all the races that we have on Earth originate from these races. So, like, for example, you and the Asian races originally mostly from Mars. This is how she explained it, because they have this yellowy skin. Or the American Indians originally from Saturn, because they have this reddish look, and the Africans are the black race, and the white race is, of course, the Europeans, like I am, or from Northern Europe, and those who are in Europe. So this is just to give an idea how life on Earth developed. So they colonized the Earth when their own home planets were not able to sustain physical life anymore, because it's the same with human beings and the physical planets as well, and even suns and stars go through their evolutionary cycles. So these older planets in our solar system, like Mars, Saturn, Jupiter, and Venus, went through their own evolutionary cycles and could not sustain life in the physical anymore. I don't have to go into the reasons. It's just some evolution. And this is when they sent parts and colonies to Earth to colonize the Earth. And the others who left, who stayed on their home planets, were rising on a different frequency. So they were ascended. They were given a blessing from the Creator. This is how she explains it. Because of their awareness, because they had reached a certain awareness, a certain consciousness as people, as human beings. And so they were given this blessing, and then they ascended. And this is where they are still living today. They are still living in higher realms than the physical. They are, and this is where Omnec was living before she was brought to Earth. She lived on the astral level of Venus. And this is also some important factor, on every planet, she said they have a certain city, or maybe even more, where that is existing multidimensionally, where they can manifest physical objects or physical bodies. So they have this technology, they have this they have mastered frequency. They can either go into the higher realms like spaceships. They can be invisible because they cloud themselves, or they vibrate at such a high frequency, like when you see a wheel at the car or at a train, you cannot see everything that's in the wheel because it is vibrating. It's so fast. So it's all frequency, the whole universe, and us as well. We are all frequency. We are all frequential beings. And so this is what she did. She lowered her vibration, and this is how she manifested a physical body. And then this is how she was brought to Earth. And the second thing that you just mentioned is the science, the scientists, or the astronomy and everything, the physicists who can only detect the fact that physical life is not possible in our solar system, and all the other planets and other galaxies are too far away. This is the completely narrow-minded 3D point of view. Yeah. Oh, this is us in 97. Exactly. So this means that they cannot see life in the astral, because with the physical means and the physical senses and the physical technology that's only functioning in this third dimensional realm, this is not able, it does not have the ability, the capacity to view into the other realms, because this is a total different frequency. This is one reason why they still say, well, Venus is so hot, there can't be life. And they just have a very narrow-minded view. And even though they send space probes and they examine it, it's still also a block in the mind. And this is another very important information, because we have been in a kind of a quarantine on Earth. So there is even the mindset, there is no life possible on other planets, because this is by design, because we have been going through a controlled and manipulated society since some occurrence a long time ago. So the Earth and the human beings who are living on Earth and who are incarnating on Earth, they think very, very limited, because they have a limited capacity, because the brain does not have its own functionality. So this is the one reason why Omnec was brought, and why we are now all awakening, so that we can rise our consciousness again to our original awareness and see beyond the wheel. We have to break through, peek through the wheels, and then we can see the other realms and experience the other realms.
Absolutely. Wow. That is such a profound understanding, and you are so good at sharing
Thank
all
you.
that, talking. And okay, I'm just kind of little breaking away from this subject, because I wanted to share this, that the reason why I really wanted to talk about this particular topic when it comes to galactic understanding. Many people may be thinking, who are watching videos on my channel, that why am I bringing this topic here, because this is not really related to twin flame journey or twin flame experience. But somehow I want to mention this, that for many days my spirit guides have been pushing me to start sharing about the galactic knowledge and everything that is related to star systems, being a star seed, or what is happening on a galactic level. And what is the scenario right now and how things are unfolding on a galactic level. And we as twin flames cannot really compartmentalize this knowledge by saying that, oh, this is not related to twin flame. I think everything is interconnected, and I think it's all for all of us, it is a high time to stop labeling our journey as a twin flame journey and just look at it from the holistic approach, and look at it as a complete spiritual journey of your own evolution or human evolution or ascension. And that is why we are trying to bring this topic, which is definitely going to unfold more and more in many videos on this channel. So this is our first attempt to bring something like this, and I hope that you will be able to connect so many missing dots in your understanding, even when it comes to your twin flame experience. So I hope people are understanding the intention behind why we are bringing this topic over here.
Yeah.
I also, yeah, you have to say
No,
something.
please move, go ahead. But of course, I can link that.
Okay. Okay, you can speak about it, because I'm going to talk about completely something different. You have something to say on what I said?
Yes, because it is totally one. I mean, I'm personally experiencing the twin flame experience. So this is how I found you. So we are guided to connect this information because it is an avenue of awakening. When you are really experiencing this, I mean, I would say that a twin flame experience is definitely connected with an amazing heart center chakra opening. If you're not experiencing this tremendous love, overflowing love that is somehow triggered or ignited by an experience or through an encounter, be it physically or otherwise, in my case, it was physical. So then soul recognition happens. And when soul recognition happens, you have no other way but to awaken. Otherwise, you will loop in duality consciousness and in an unbearable pain forever. And this is exactly why so many twin flames are incarnated, so that they meet each other in some way or the other, and so that heart center chakra openings happen, Kundalini experience, all these experiences that are very much related to the so-called twin flame experience or twin flame journey are happening so that the individual soul realizes itself. It's not about, and this is exactly why it is such a complex subject and why it is so important that we are now combining our knowledge, teachings, and experiences so that we can help people to get out of focusing on duality consciousness and on the other person. Because this is not why it happens. It happens to shift out of duality consciousness and to raise our frequency and to really, truly find our God self within again. And this is tremendously important, and this is the energy. The unconditional love is what twin flames hold for each other. It's the love. And Omnec, for example, is a teacher of unconditional love because she came from Venus, and this is her mission. So she was brought into I was guided to meet her at the age of, in the early 20s. I saw her for the first time, and I had my first realization of unconditional love exactly when this happened, when the photo you just shared, when I met her. Because it happened in the first workshop with her in 1997 approximately, so it's 25 years ago, when her eyes and mine found each other, and she gave me this darshan, and my heart center opened for the first time, not to that extent that I experience now through the twin flame experience, because the energy is so high and you first have to process all the lower chakra fears and expectations and doubts and all these identifications that are connected with this manipulated duality consciousness. And it's a very, very intense process. And after my first soul recognition, kind of, with Omnec, and something else happened quite fast after that, it took me around 25 years to process that and to go through all the experiences. So to link that, the galactics bring the information of consciousness, of teaching, spiritual teachings about so many aspects, mystical teachings and everything, and they bring the teachers who share unconditional love in physical encounters and to ignite our hearts so that we raise the awareness, because this is all to help raise the consciousness of mankind and of the earth so that we are freeing ourselves. It's about liberation. We are here incarnated to liberate our soul energy and our divinity again, so that we return to consciousness of oneness, and so that we become again the beautiful, perfect souls or incarnated souls that we truly are. And we can only make this shift by waking up. And waking up happens exactly by that, by some kind of triggers or experiences or a twin flame encounter. And it's all for the same purpose, to raise our consciousness, to expand our awareness.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So amazing. I also remember another thing which Omnec mentioned in her book, that the civilization on planet Venus is so raised in their own awareness or their consciousness that everybody knows that we are a soul, and we are here for our spiritual growth. So there is no system called money system, the way we have this whole give and take that happens on our planet, that for everything we have to buy something, we have to accumulate money, we have to save money. So everybody is so stuck in that whole matrix that everybody has to learn, educate themselves only to find a job that earns them a lot of money. And everything, every damn thing on this planet earth is um, run from this whole concept of money, be it power, politics, government, any service, or any damn thing. It's completely controlled by this whole money consciousness. But as she very well describes her planet Venus and the life over there, I was amazed somehow to, and even delighted. I couldn't believe that something like this can actually ever exist, because most of us who have been awakening, we start shedding our whole attachment to money, and we have so many money blocks, and we don't know what to do, because we want to focus on our spiritual journey, and then there is this whole money thing that is also there in our minds. So when she shared this, that um, on planet Venus, if somebody is living in a certain house, when they are over with the need of that house, they will just leave that house for somebody else, and any other family can come and stay there. So there is no concept of money. Everybody is just manifesting their life the way they want. And it is such a, I mean, somewhere I feel that this book which she has written is a absolute blueprint, or whatever, because a lot of people feel that, okay, we are ascending, or we are actually going, rising ourselves to a different consciousness. What does that mean exactly? How would it feel? What sort of life we would live? So in her book, the way she is describing the life on planet Venus, somewhere I feel that that's exactly going to help us to understand and visualize how we are supposed to grow, in what direction we are supposed to go when it comes to releasing these blocks, and how that money-less civilization, where there is no money, there is only love, people choose things for themselves, and there is no societal fear and rejection or abandonment, and it's a very balanced sort of a life. Even by reading her book, I was healing myself, that, oh my God, this is so amazingly beautiful and wonderful that she has shared. So another thing she also describes in her book is about karma, that karma is a universal law. So what teachings we have been getting from our earthly ancient masters, it is uh, a pleasant surprise to see in her teachings as well, that every planet in the any galactic system does have this whole concept of karma, where there is a certain cause and effect to your own actions, and you have to balance it with your own actions. And that's I can also kind of overlap what she's saying with the ancient text in the Hindu mythology, because even the kind of words she's using are pretty similar to what our Hindu ancient texts have uh, explained, especially when it comes to yugas. Like there are these four eras which the Hindu mythology describes: the Satyug, Treta Yug, Dwapar Yug, and Kali Yug. So most of us are very well versed with the Kali Yug because we are in the Kali Yug right now. But she is exactly explaining those four things, the way they cycle, with some different terms like golden age and copper age, silver age, and iron age, but exactly with the same information. So it's very interesting to see how that information or that understanding is again revalidated from a completely different perspective, from a galactic perspective. So, if you have anything to say on that.
Well, these are ancient teachings, and Omnec, although she was brought to Earth, she received these teachings, as I said, already on Venus, and later on also on Earth, because she was guided to encounter a teacher. His name was Paul Twitchell on Earth. This was also guided by the masters, because Paul Twitchell he was a teacher on Earth, and he was sent to Venus, to the astral Venus, in his astral body, to see the little Omnec while she was still alive on Venus, in the astral, so that he would recognize her later when they would meet on the Earth plane. So it was all prepared and guided. And this teacher, this Paul Twitchell, also was educated in ancient knowledge through his teachers. His teacher was Reva Zardas. It's all ascended masters. So it's all ancient masters' teaching. So there is no wonder that the Indian mythology and all that you know from your cultural realm, and what Omnec shared and what she was taught by her teacher and by the Venusians, it's all basically coming to the same. Of course, you can always find some little differences, or the terminology can be used different, but we have to overcome that, because this is not what it's about. It's about the essence of the teachings, that is basically about love and about we are souls. This is the essence. And this is exactly what the people on Earth forgot. They went through the dark age, as you call it, the Kali Yuga, or she named it the dark age or the Kali Yuga, because it was, as I said, this is why the Earth was also called the negative child, and the one moon thing and all this. It all makes sense as a whole complete picture, so that the Earth would provide the opportunity for souls to go through negative experiences and through forgetfulness. And now, of course, karma is a basic law. It's a spiritual law. So, I could even go make a little excursion into my own soul memory of the fall of Atlantis. This is what I deeply resonate with, is this memory of being a soul, being a spark of God, being a very high level being an androgynous being, having come to Earth for whatever reasons, and then finding myself kind of trapped here, falling down in the consciousness, and then the split started. This is also when the duality consciousness started, and when the twin flames were separated into the divine masculine and divine feminine polarity, because in the higher realms we are one soul. Twin souls is twin flames, or twin souls is one soul that's now in two incarnations, in two bodies, and recognizing itself again through a physical encounter or any kind of encounter. When soul recognition happens, you recognize yourself again as your soul. So this awakening journey starts. And this has been a very, very long journey of being trapped in duality consciousness, going through reincarnation cycles over and over and over again. Every twin soul kind of, they were either incarnated parallelly, or one was incarnated, the other was not incarnated, and they had other relationships. They found themselves trapped in negative traits, or in lust, or in greed, all these negative aspects that called in the Christian Bible as the seven deadly sins. We have something similar in all cultures, the negative aspects, or that a soul can experience when it has forgotten its true origin. Because when you're in unity and in love consciousness, you're not experiencing these kind of things. It's only experienced by the soul when it has lowered its consciousness, and when it is in duality consciousness, when it has forgotten its origin. So then karma is, of course, chiming in, because you're all of a sudden killing somebody out of lust or jealousy or so, in some incarnation, and then of course you're trapped in this karmic cycle, because your soul wants to return to oneness. So in one other lifetime it is incarnated and experiences something similar in other aspects. So that, because it is voluntarily, because soul wants to experience everything. We want to experience being a murderer, being a victim, being going through richness, through abundance, through poverty, going through all kinds of aspects of experience, being alone in one lifetime, having a family. All experiences, our souls are the choice of the soul. And then comes the time, and this is why they had to interfere with the Galactics and to help raise people's consciousness, because people on Earth were stuck. They were stuck in their reincarnation cycles and karmic cycles kind of almost forever, because they had accumulated so much karma and so many things and so many dark interconnections with other souls, that they needed some kind of help from the higher realms, so that they would find out of this cycle again. And this is when the galactic beings like Omnec and others and the teachings come in, so that we can free ourselves from karma and from the reincarnation cycles. And one last word. In 1999, Omnec started sharing her big transformation information, and she said she was given the information from her masters that karma is over. Karma is finished. You can create new karma in this lifetime if you're not aware, or if you're still not wanting to get out of duality consciousness, because not all souls on Earth signed up for ascension. There is also many souls on Earth who are just like whatever, but we don't have to focus on the negative parts anymore. We have to focus on ourselves and on our own ascension. And that we are doing that, we are free from karma. We don't have to reincarnate or come back or whatever if we don't choose so, for whatever reasons. But in this whole era of the dark age, we were as souls trapped in the reincarnation cycles, and that's over. We are free, at least theoretically, spiritually. Now we have to start living that. And we have to start really living our high awareness again.
Absolutely. And whatever you have been sharing so far, it also reminded me of Dr. Ray, because you have been working with him, and he also is closely working with planet Venus, or the research related to planet Venus. So I definitely, even though we are talking about Omnec Onec today, I definitely want you to talk about Dr. Ray, because I think he has been also a close associate with you, and he has as according to you, like he has already been to Venus in, I think, some spaceship or something with an unbelievable story. But yeah, I want you to share that.
Thank you for mentioning him. Yes, thank you. So what I'm sharing now is here you can see Dr. Raymond Keller. I'm purposely showing this picture because it's for those who feel guided or who feel the calling to attend a physical experience with us, with Pradnya and with Omnec Onec and with Dr. Raymond Keller, because this is probably going to be a unique opportunity to spend physical time with us in Germany. This is in this summer in July, the From Venus with Love International Planetary Ascension Conference. And here you find all the infos in the YouTube description and on my website, venus-spirit.com. And here you can see it's a little bit
Yeah, second picture.
Small. Yeah,
Great.
second picture is Dr. So the first one here is Omnec Onec. Of course, she aged. Yeah, she is not as young anymore as on the picture that's behind me. But this is from last year when I met her in the United States. We were together at the Mount Shasta Summer Conference. So this picture is from then. And Dr. Raymond Keller is here next to her. Dr. Raymond Keller is the Venus historian. So from my perspective, he is, I can share it again real quick. Maybe it's interesting to look at all these beautiful souls who are going to participate at this conference. So Omnec is, as we already explained elaborately, from Venus, and he was on Venus.
What do you mean by that? I mean, okay, I really want you to elaborate about that, because I feel that needs to be understood by many people.
I know that it is very hard to understand it and it's very hard to digest it. It's at the moment, it's just an information that I'm giving. And he wrote about it in 2 of his books, actually, and he has not talked about it in detail publicly yet very often, because his main focus is on disclosure, is on UFO information, political information, scientific information, and historical information. So he's really a researcher, he's an author, and he's also an initiate. He's a very high soul, and I feel that him and Omnec are, from my perspective, they could even be twin flames, because for me, she is the soul and he is also bringing in the mental part. He is really combining the soul information and the inner information with education, with researches. He can write books and all that and gives presentations. And you will meet him in July, Pradnya, and there I already encouraged him. He already promised me he will give one presentation about his journey to Venus. So it's going to be really a premiere, because he has never done that before as a specific lecture. I can only say what I know so far and what I translated, because I translated his first book, Venus Rising. It's a big book about Venus and his researches and everything, and the contacts and contactees. It's also one chapter about Omnec that I wrote. So it's a very, very fascinating book. And in this book, there is a last chapter. And when I'm serious, when I translated this last chapter about his trip to Venus, my mind had trouble.
Okay.
I really had a hard time. I had a hard time understanding it and really believing it and getting it. It was very complex. It was I almost gave up. And I had to discuss a few points with him, and he had to help me understanding some details. So at least now the chapter is complete in the German version. In the English, it's of course complete anyway. So it is a very condensed chapter where he's explaining what happened to him. I try in a few words to share it with you. What I remember, because it is really a complex thing. So what I remember is that he was teaching in China. He's also a teacher and he's a doctor. And he had connections with Venusians and with other extraterrestrials and with other contactees and everything in his whole life. So what I'm saying now is what happened in 2012, I believe. It's 12 years ago. And at that time, he already, so his life, he was already in the 60s, I guess. And so he already had his whole life with experiences, spiritual experiences. Yes, this is Venus Rising. This is the book that I published in German, that I translated to German. It's an amazing, really amazing information. And he said that he was teaching in China. And there he met one of his friends, a Venusian. He already knew her. So she met him there. She kind of picked him up with a little craft, because she told him, didn't you tell me all the time that you would love to go to Venus one day? And he said, yes, of course. And she said, well, then I have a surprise for you. You will fly with me to Venus. He was prepared for that. And she picked him up in a little spacecraft. It has a special name. I forgot the name. It's a little bubble craft where just 2 or 3 people can sit in. I have an illustration about that, but I don't have it here on hand because I didn't expect us talking about it. But it's a special little craft that can use, it's like in bubble shape, and they use it for small distances as a little transportation device. And so he writes, and he says that she picked him up and that they were together traveling over a lake area in Tibet, where 2 big motherships were located at that time. And he was supposed to, with her, to go into one of the spaceships. I think it was the ship from Valiant Thor, if I'm not right. He's a Venusian. It's a Venusian mothership. It has even some name, the whatever one or so, I don't recall. And then they were traveling to Venus together in this mothership. And he said that on Venus, there is also still a physical society. And then my mind was really like almost exploding, because for 30 years, I thought there is no physical Venus society. From Omnec, I only knew about the astral, not that there is anything physical. I just knew about Valiant Thor. This is a Venusian who met the President Eisenhower in the 50s or in the 60s, that he was physically in the Pentagon. Valiant Thor, the Venusian. So there is a physical connection, yes, but I never met Valiant Thor, and Omnec did not speak about him so much either. So I was not really deeply educated in that field. I was only, I had enough to do with Omnec in my own life. I was not really researching other Venusians or other information. And with Ray came this full load all of a sudden in my consciousness, in my awareness, in my belief system, in my mind. Everything was challenged, because all of a sudden he says, well, I was taken to Venus in the physical. And I was like, what? I thought there is no physical life. And he said, yes, there is, but it's mostly underground. They have tunnel systems, and they have some areas even with an atmosphere. And but this is all the things that cannot be located from Earth, especially not with a 3D mind from scientists on Earth, because of the manipulation and controlling factors that are still preventing this to be detected. And of course, they are also hiding themselves kind of, under clouds, and so that they would keep themselves still secret as long as big disclosure and revelations as long as mankind is not ready for that, because we are still having to wake up from the inside. They are not showing up from the outside before mankind is not ready. And this is what Ray explains in his book, that he was, of course, there was a special occasion, there was a special ceremony that he was invited. and he was witnessing the new queen. They have a queen. He's talking about a queen on Venus, and he was allowed to stay there for 10 weeks to participate at this royal, it's the ceremony of the queen ceremony, of the new queen ceremony. And I have no idea what he experienced in these 10 weeks. I had never had a chance so far to talk with him about it. It's still on my plan. I will do it. And he's at the moment writing his autobiography. And he said, in my autobiography, I will explain it all. So he will reveal everything that he experienced in that autobiography. And he already told me that I will probably be the publisher of that, and probably even then the translator. So it's amazing.
Amazing. We would definitely look forward to this biography of Dr. Ray. And I think this is an amazing combination you're working with. Like Dr. Ray is more coming from the research or practicality, technology, science, and Omnec comes completely from the spiritual perspective. And both of them giving all that polar opposite knowledge to you at the same time is like really amazing. And I'm sure there is a reason.
Not at the same time. Omnec was before. Ray came after I had integrated her information so far, and then he was brought into my life, and then the twin flame came. And this is also mind-blowing, because it all makes sense in you know, when you look at it all from this holistic point of view, that then everything, and all of a sudden it's like I'm the child, or I'm the mother, I'm the one who is combining them within me, the female, the soul, and he brought the mental and the mind and everything, the masculine information. And then I even had that experience, you know, and now everything is coming within me into balance, and I start teaching myself. I'm now in this position that I'm combining their knowledge, wisdom, love, and everything, and share it and organize events. And now I'm with you. It's all amazing.
Absolutely. So what is it that you have as your understanding when it comes to this big revelation? Because somewhere I personally feel, according to whatever guidance I receive or whatever general feeling I have in my heart, that this whole official revelation of the whole galactic presence, who has always been helping humanity to ascend, will show up, you know, in next 5 to 6 years. This is what is my information. I want to ask you, what is your information or understanding or intuition or whatever?
About what exactly? What do you mean exactly?
The revelation, like, you know, the galactic beings showing up officially here, because I think if that happens, there will be a huge shift happening on the planet very naturally.
I wonder if the huge shift has to happen before they can show up.
I mean, it is anyways happening energetically. So it's like we have been prepared to face that event, you know.
We have to come to this point of being able to meet them on an eye-to-eye level.
Right. So when do you think that will happen, according to your intuition? That's what I'm asking you.
You ask me when?
I mean, it doesn't matter when, but I'm still asking. It just came to my mind.
I cannot give a time. I have no way of saying that I know it, or that I don't know. I cannot say a time. I just know that it has to be in resonance with the earth and with the it has to be, you know, like the thing with the moon. It's as if one would ask, when will there be a second moon again, so that the planetary atmosphere and everything will be in balance again? How can we know that? I believe it all depends on the people. It depends on every individual. Every individual has to work on themselves, to raise their awareness, to get out of duality consciousness into consciousness of oneness. We have to work on ourselves. And then we don't know when this miracle will happen, because we are also shifting our awareness of time, because time does not exist in the in an awakened state, you have a different perception of time.
Yes.
Omnec
Yeah.
always said, of course, we also on the astral, we also have time, but it's totally different. She said that she already was around, I think, 130 years old on the astral when she manifested a 7-year-old physical child body with which she was brought to earth. So time in a higher dimension goes way, way slower or faster.
Slow. Yeah.
Slower or faster. Slower. Yeah. So it's all, many people have already experienced this, that when you are in a different zone energetically, you have a different perception of time. So
Yeah.
it eventually
That's an
calendars
excellent point. Yes.
and clocks and watches, everything will become obsolete, because we are then always, as we are talking about the 0 point zone and our twin flame retreat, don't we? I mean, we are giving a spiritual retreat called Twin Flames Integrated, and we said it was your idea, your guidance to call it, let's step up and come to the 0 point. So the 0 point is the 0 point zone where there is no time.
Absolutely.
And that inner 0 point, there is the connection. And it can be that you are in the 0 point zone, or maybe with others who are in the 0 point in the very now, and then you have a spaceship encounter. Somebody's showing up, somebody's landing. But when it will happen in that way globally, that it comes in the news or so, I doubt that, even, because even Ray said it is we might wait forever and a day until NASA and the governments will tell us the truth. I believe the truth has to come from the people. The people have to start revealing their individual truth, have to step out of their fear zone of not talking their truth, of not showing themselves, of not getting out of their systems, of their relationships, of their jobs that they don't like anymore. Everybody has to work individually on their own happiness, on their own awakening. And this is what makes it eventually happen, that the planet shifts and that we will rise up to be part of the brotherhood of the galactics again, consciously.
Absolutely. I can't agree more. And I think we have already talked for 1.5 hours now. So, and I know that there is so much to share, but we will have such episodes coming up. So all those who really want to know more about Omnec, Onec, or anybody else who is a galactic master or a teacher or anything, especially coming to this topic, that galactic masters and their teachings, there is so much to share. So we will definitely keep sharing. If any of you want to share something from your side, or you want to recommend us about a certain master or a teacher, we are absolutely open to look at that. Coming to the retreat, me and Anya, both of us are holding this retreat in Dubai from 20th to 24th April in 2024. So just 2 months to go. Very, very limited seats. Most of the seats are booked. So all those who are really willing to come and join us for this amazing physical meeting of twin flames, doing a lot of activities, lot of activations, breakthroughs and sharings and Q&As, whatever it could be. Please access the website link which is given in the description of this video. See, and if you really feel that this is something which you feel like you're calling, that you feel like coming and attending this retreat specifically, please send us a message and you will be on board. We would be absolutely eager and excited to welcome you to this retreat. So that is also something which I had to share. So I think that is all for today. Is there anything, Anya, you want to share?
I think we covered really a lot. I think I
Yeah,
shared
absolutely.
much. We shared.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Probably next time when we are talking about Omnec, we can focus more about the life on Venus, because
Yeah.
Somewhere I feel um, it is an amazing walkthrough to see how the ascended life looks like.
And we can
So
also talk about how they made it, how they managed it to raise their frequency, and how they got rid of the money system. Because she explains
yes, yes,
she always talks about this beginning. You know, it's one chapter, even the beginning, where she explains how they really managed to burn their money. They stepped out of the system. They freed themselves. So it was the liberation that came from the people, and they really burned their money. And so of course we can look at it, as you said, as some kind of a, I mean, learn from that. It's
yes,
not that we are not ready yet to burn our money here, but we
absolutely.
have to
We are
see,
not.
you know, we have to really realize that there is also this very, very
Yeah,
dark agenda timeline where they're trying to bring the souls and to keep the souls trapped, and to even keep them under control, and even bring more control with social security, social money. What is this word? Social. I mean, where everything is connected
yeah.
just electronically, and
Social system. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So you know that you cannot even buy stuff anymore as long as the matrix, or as long as some computer allows
True.
you to. So there is this timeline that we can only prevent from experiencing ourselves when we really start consciously focusing on creating our own future, on creating our life of happiness. Because when we are free as souls and realized souls, and when we are really in love, in love consciousness, they can't get a hold of us anymore. So it's all about freeing ourselves and becoming the conscious creators that we truly are. And then this kind of system and agenda will not touch us anymore. And this is the separation of the timelines, or of these systems. So we are the ones to create our own reality. And this is why awakening and learning ourselves, educating ourselves, is so crucial. And this is why we are also having the events, this event this year, and the Twin Flame Retreat. So if you feel some kind of calling, get in touch with us, or just sign up.
Great. So on the closing note, this is the parting message coming from both of us, that we are here to operate from the heart. We are here to operate from love and free ourselves from all those rigid belief systems that we are clinging on to. That's all for today.
Thank you.
See you all in the next video. Bye.
You all. Bye.